Hi everyone, Louise here for yet another episode of First Lady of Nutrition podcast. As you know, I'm the First Lady of Nutrition, and it's my pleasure to bring you the leading lights in nutrition, health, and cutting-edge technology on a weekly basis. I want to give thanks to my sponsors, UniKeyHealth.com. They are the repository and depository of all my special formulas, and cshealth.com, where you can get the best activated sulforaphane on the planet. So today we're talking about some of the newest technology that's available for regeneration and rejuvenation. I'm speaking to Kris Galli, who's the Director of Business Development for Tesla BioHealing, and she is working alongside a very, very avant-garde researcher and developer, Dr. James Liu, to bring us some breakthrough energy technology, and that, I think, is going to change the world. So Kris Galli, welcome to my podcast, and excuse my voice.
Oh, Dr. Gittleman, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
So tell me what you do that's so unusual. Now, I have your biohealing units in my home, and I've really started to see some wonderful results. But number one, who is Dr. James Liu, the director and developer of this cutting-edge technology that's based, I think, on Nikola Tesla's work?
Yes, Dr. James Z. Liu, he is the inventor of our technology, and he's also an MD, PhD. And he did invent these wonderful over-the-counter medical devices. These are all FDA-registered over-the-counter medical devices that have the unique ability to generate a field of pure life force energy. So it really is a breakthrough technology, and we're very happy to be bringing it to the world.
Now, tell me about breakthrough technology. What is this related to something called scalar waves? Many years ago, I studied with a woman that developed a healing bed. She called it a healing table, actually, that she lied on.
Mm-hmm.
She laid on it, I think, 30 minutes on one side, 30 minutes on another. You said it was based on Nikola Tesla's technology. So explain that a little bit to me. What kind of biohealing are we talking about?
Sure. So these medical devices, they generate a field of pure life force energy. And this life force energy has been called many things. Excuse me, it's been called scalar waves, as you've mentioned, Tesla energy, 0 point energy, chi, ki, prana, etc. It's essentially that vital force of nature that's all around us all the time, that our cells need in order to be as healthy as possible, that our cells are already interacting with every single day, similar to oxygen. So oxygen is all around us all the time. Our cells are already interacting with it and need it to be as healthy as possible as well. But similar to oxygen also, if you need to use oxygen therapeutically, it needs to be concentrated and delivered in a specific manner. And the same thing is true with life force energy. So although this is a completely natural energy already occurring in the environment, it needs to be harnessed, concentrated, and delivered with enough power so that your cells can really utilize as much as they need to activate their own self-repair processes. So that's what we're doing with this technology. We're providing a concentrated field of life force energy so that your cells can utilize it at will to activate their own self-healing.
So this is something where you're starting to trump your DNA. In other words, it allows your cells to repair, regenerate, and rejuvenate themselves for people that may not have the proper genetic predisposition for that. So it's used for people for prevention or for curing certain kinds of diseases.
Yeah, so we can't claim to prevent, cure, or treat anything. We're an over-the-counter medical device manufacturer, but essentially, as these devices, as we mentioned, have the ability to create this field, this amplified field of life force energy, which has natural healing capacities already, but we're providing enough of it so that your cells can really utilize it at will, absorb as much of the life force energy that's available to really start activating their own self-repair. And as you know, the body is already an incredible healer. It just needs to be properly supported so that it can start to carry out its best functions.
Well, you know, I just did an interview on Coast to Coast Radio, the largest radio show in the country, on the evenings.
Well,
and I talked to many people about the importance of cellular repair, and that people that live till a very long age have the ability, they actually have a cell mutation that allows their cells to self-repair. But as we get older, we lose that ability. Why is that?
Well, the cells are much like a car battery in that regard, right? So they tend to lose energy over the time as we age, but this life force energy has the ability to actually charge the cells directly, and not so much that the energy itself is the one doing that, in the sense that no frequencies have to be sent through your system or anything. Your cells themselves actually know how to uptake this healing life force energy completely naturally. So as they can uptake this life force energy, one of the known benefits is that this life force actually has the ability to increase the millivolt levels of the cells directly up to the optimum millivolt range of about 70 to 90 millivolts, and also increase ATP levels. So that's a lot of the reason why your cells finally have enough life force energy to utilize to start activating their own self-repair mechanisms, because they're actually able to interact with this life force energy directly, recharge themselves, and repair themselves.
So can you actually measure the difference? Can you get a voltage meter that would measure that, do you think, Kris?
There are multiple ways of measuring the energy potential in your body. We have multiple tools that we use at our facility, of course, but other experts in the field have other ways as well. But these are well-known benefits of the life force energy that we're using, or scalar energy, as you mentioned before.
So how did James Liu decide to create this? I mean, what was his motivation? I noticed he's an MD and a PhD. How did he bring this breakthrough into technology?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's an inventor by heart, and as we mentioned, he's MD, PhD. He also has a strong background in traditional Chinese medicine, so he understands very well both the biological aspects of the body and also the energetic aspects. And Nikola Tesla is really a wonderful bridge for those two worlds, both the energetic and the and biology, so the physical and the energetic aspect of well-being and of life. You know, Nikola Tesla really was the one who originally discovered how to harness this life force energy. He was the first one to discover how to do that. And in his own words, I'm paraphrasing, but his whole mission was to harness the forces of nature to the service of mankind. And Dr. Liu is very inspired by him, as are many people. So he
Yes.
went out of his way to do his own research and to really find out how to apply life force energy into a deliverable system that could be brought to the modern medical community.
So is this comparable to what we hear about these days with the MediBeds? How does this compare to MedBeds?
Well, our MedBed generators are FDA registered over-the-counter medical devices. The two that you have right now, as you've seen, they're very easy to use. You just place these generators directly underneath your bed frame, and it creates a concentrated atmosphere of life force energy for your cells to utilize completely at will and completely as needed. And again, we're relying on the body's own innate intelligence to really take over and use that life force energy how it sees fit. In terms of any kind of futuristic MedBed that may or may not come in the future, I know there's a lot of articles circulating regarding that topic. I can't speak to that directly because that's not something that we're directly involved in, but in terms of a technology that's available today and that's creating remarkable improvements in people's lives today, this is certainly the closest thing I think people will find. And we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully more and more of these technologies come to the surface.
So is this life force energy comparable to the grounding energy people get when they earth or put their feet on the bare earth?
Well, it's the vital force of nature essential to all living cells. So I think when people do ground themselves, or when they get into deep meditative states, or even if they just go to the side of a mountain to feel more connected to nature, they are becoming more aware of that life force energy and allowing more of it in, perhaps via various methods. So what we're doing essentially is providing people with an environment essentially through this life force, or through this medical device rather, of a concentrated field of that life force energy, so that even if people don't have the ability to let's say go to the side of the ocean, or take that grounding moment that they need, or maybe go to a meditation retreat or whatever that is, to get into these states where you can access more life force energy, more sense of centeredness, and enter into an environment where your body can self-heal. Even if you can't do that by yourself, you can utilize these over-the-counter medical devices in your home, as you've done. Just place them underneath your bed, and there's really no need to change your lifestyle. Now you have a really concentrated environment of this life force energy available to you every single day.
So what do you do at your facility? Why would people want to come? You're located in Delaware, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, our headquarters are in Milford, Delaware. And we do offer MedBed sessions. People can come sleep on the MedBeds, learn about the technology, etc. We also have various ways to measure your energy before and after use of the MedBed technology. So that's very interesting for people to see as well.
How do you do?
But really,
Well, hold on. How do you do that? My people will be very interested in knowing that.
oh, sure. Well, we have various tools that we use here at the office. Just it's basically a whole experience that people use. But you can actually measure your energetic state before and after use of the MedBed generators. So essentially, as people come in and they learn about the technology, they have the first experience with the MedBed sessions, and not only the MedBed generators, but as you know, we also have an entry-level unit as well called the Tesla BioHealers, which are more portable units. You can take them with you anywhere you go, and they're meant for more mild to moderate conditions. The energy quotient isn't as strong as the MedBed generators, but those are a great option for a lot of people as well. So
So,
people will come and have their first experience, but they don't need to come here. We deliver these products directly to your door.
as you've done to me here in the great state of Idaho. So
Yes.
I'm very appreciative of that. So tell us about the success stories. Tell us about different success stories that were unexpected and really mind blowing, jaw dropping that my people become excited about. What have you seen?
Sure. So we really do see incredible things take place on a daily basis. And I would encourage people to review our website to take a look at our most recent testimonials, www.teslabiohealing.com. One that stands out to me the most was a Parkinson's patient who over the past 10 years of his life has really been deteriorating in health because, as you know, Parkinson's is a degenerative condition. So much so to the point where he was bedridden most of the time. And if he did walk, it was with a cane, and it was very, very difficult for him. So he purchased two of our MedBed generators, the same two that you have. And after only 10 days, so again, he's only been using the generators for 10 days after suffering for 10 years. After only 10 days of using the generators, he was able to walk by himself completely without the need of a walker, without assistance. And he actually wanted to get up out of bed and go to the grocery store. And he had a
Wow.
completely different quality of life in only 10 days. And that was the only change to his lifestyle, just using our generators.
Is there any other organ that gets measurably healed with the use of these biogenerators?
Yeah, there's really great potential for all areas of the body, the brain, various organs. People really experience a great deal of pain relief, as was the case with this gentleman. He was actually able to get off all his pain medication in a very short period of time just by using the generators. So it's a completely safe technology. It's wonderful for various types of conditions, especially if you've really tried everything else and nothing's been of value to you. I would certainly encourage you to learn more about our technology because it's been able to help a great deal of people.
So, what about autoimmune conditions? I'm thinking of lupus, I'm thinking about MS, I'm thinking about rheumatoid arthritis. Any wonderful breakthroughs there?
Yes, we actually just got a video up from an MS patient, so I would encourage people to check that out as well. Arthritis as well, people have a great deal of pain relief, a great deal of healing in their joints and in tissue that was degenerating but was able to become repaired essentially because again, that ability for this life force energy to activate cellular repair directly, it has resulted in dramatic breakthroughs for many people, even if they have degenerative conditions.
And what about metabolic conditions, diabetes 1, diabetes 2, any real control of
Yep.
blood sugar and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, a normalization of blood sugar and a normalization of blood pressure are one of the early signs of efficacy of the technology. So we've been able to see blood sugars normalize with type 1 and type 2 diabetes. People being able to, they don't need to use as much insulin, and their blood sugar levels are much more manageable for both types of diabetes. It's something that we've seen consistently.
What about thyroid conditions? Half my clients are suffering from some sort of thyroid condition, whether it's autoimmune or based upon just the aging process. Have you seen any difference there?
Well, for many different conditions that cause fatigue, we're able to see a great deal of energy improvement, energy enhancement, because again, your cells are able to utilize this energy directly. And as they start to activate their own self-repair, they're able to increase the ATP levels, increase millivolt levels, actually activate cellular repair directly, increase circulation, decrease inflammation, etc. So it's, again, there really isn't a limit to what this life force energy is able to do, because at the end of the day, if your cells are healthy, the rest of your body can follow. We just need to support the cells. The cells already know how to heal you. They just need the proper support.
They need the support, and sometimes a reminder. I would suggest, well, anything with regard to the skin, because I've just written an anti-aging book or a pro-aging healthfully book, and people are so
Yeah.
concerned about skin issues, problems with rashes, problems with unexplainable brown spots, red spots, hyperactivity of the skin, or hyperpigmentation, I should say, which is a form of hyperactivity, I guess, in some respects. But have you seen any difference there?
Sure. So we've seen a lot of anti-aging benefits take place. And actually, one of the things Dr. Liu likes to explain most to people, especially as you mentioned, a lot of your clients are aging and whatnot, especially to older women. He always says, "Oh, you're going to look and feel so much younger," and it's true. We do see people physically look younger. Their skin is looking better, has more resiliency, brighter, smoother, etc. And it's really because, again, your cells are getting healthier and healthier, that your metabolic age is able to be greatly benefited, oftentimes in very short periods of time.
So how long, and I know that you're not going to be able to answer this, but I have to ask you anyways, how long
Sure,
does it
sure.
take to see measurable results? I imagine
It
the
really
older you are, the slower the results.
It really depends upon your condition, of course, the layers of conditions that you're dealing with, and how much life force energy you really have to address that condition. So that's why we have two product lines. We have the BioHealers, which again are the smaller entry-level products, really intended more for mild to moderate conditions, although they can be compounded to address more serious conditions. And then we have the MedBed generators, which are the units that you have, which really are indicated for addressing the most severe conditions in the shortest amount of time, because the energy quotient is so much higher. Just to equal one of the MedBed generators, you would need 100 of the BioHealer units. So, and we deliver the MedBed generators in pairs, as you've seen. So really, that would be like getting 200 of the entry-level products if you get the two generators. So it's a huge energy difference.
Wow.
The BioHealer Yep. The biohealers have gone quite a long way for people. Even though they are entry-level units, they've gone quite a long way. So they are still powerful within themselves, but the MedBed generators are really the most powerful health solution that we have to offer. So how long it takes really, of course, depends on your condition and the amount of life force energy that you have to address it. The more severe the condition, the more amount of layers that this life force energy has to work through, the more life force energy we recommend to really properly support your cellular system.
So when I started using these under the bed, I couldn't use two on on the left side of my body, which is where I had I've had a severe brain concussion years ago. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I'm still in, I guess, post concussion syndrome. But I was very dizzy initially. Is that normal?
Mm-hmm. It depends. Some people are naturally more sensitive to energy, so we do recommend, especially because the generators, of course, as you've seen, are very powerful. We do recommend a slow integration if people find that they're a bit naturally more sensitive to the energy. Of course, the energy itself is completely safe. It's a completely naturally occurring substance, but some people will want a slower integration just to get used to having so much more life force energy available. And your cells are only going to utilize what they need. So if the life force energy is there for them to be supported by, and they start to absorb this life force energy very quickly, as is often the case. Some people do feel a sense of euphoria or lightheadedness, and it's just because your cells aren't used to having so much life force energy to utilize. So they're very happy about it. But if them absorbing it so quickly causes, some kind of dizziness or sensitivity, that's perfectly, it's still rare. Most people do go ahead and absorb this life force energy very naturally. But I'm sure because you do so many natural health remedies, you're naturally more sensitive to energy, which is wonderful. So in that case, yeah, you did the perfect thing. Just take it easy, integrate yourself into the life force energy field a bit more slowly, and that's perfectly all right.
Well, that's what I did. I moved one of the generators to my husband's side of the bed. So,
Great.
and then within 2 nights, I moved it back because I could absorb it. It's almost like my body was saying, "Give me more, give me more, give me more." But I couldn't take more right away, so do it to me slowly. Then within two days, I was fine. So tell me about the skin conditions that improve.
So most people come to us with chronic health conditions that are very debilitating, things like cancer, stroke, paralysis, dementia, etc. So most people who mention skin improvements, it's really like a happy coincidence after utilizing the technology for something else. But things like dryness, people have actually said that wrinkles go away, which is always people are very happy to hear that, and they're usually very surprised. I've had multiple people call me and ask if they were really seeing what was happening, that it was true, right? Because they'll just look in the mirror and see that their wrinkles are starting to disappear, etc. So most of the skin benefits that we've seen are really secondary to the reason why people got the devices, but it's a wonderful benefit.
So now I have another question. How did you become involved?
Sure. So my whole background, I have a degree in public health. My whole background is in energy-based medicine, alternative therapies, etc. And I personally had studied Nikola Tesla specifically for about a year and a half before finding a company that had a product that really lived up to the potential that I knew was possible. So when I found this technology, when I found Dr. Lou, and when I realized that the efficacy really was there, I offered to help him continue to grow the company, and here we are.
So, what's so any condition works the best with this? Do people that have Alzheimer's come to you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Alzheimer's was one of the first parameters that we really studied with the safety and efficacy studies that we were doing. So originally, when we created the technology, we really wanted to address the unmet needs. So conditions that really didn't have any other solution. And one of those is Alzheimer's, as you know. So Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients, they've really done very, very well utilizing this technology. And again, as you've seen, it's completely passive, non-invasive. They just need to place it near you. Most people just place the smaller units near them while they sleep, and of course the larger MedBed generators underneath their beds. There's really no change in your lifestyle needed, and we've been able to see Alzheimer's patients regain lucidity, regain cognitive function, regain mobility, increase their overall quality of life, oftentimes in very short periods of time.
I have a client that has a form of Alzheimer's, and that name, of course, will remain private at this point.
Sure.
And when I spoke to his wife, I said, "What are the differences you're seeing in him?" And she said, "Well, I don't know what I can say other than his blood pressure is normal after 2 nights."
So they only used it for 2 nights and
No, no, no.
already saw.
After 2 nights of use, she said that his blood pressure was normal and he's happier.
Good, good. Yeah, and so that's only at 2 nights. So with more and more use of the technology, more and more benefits should be able to be seen.
So, how does one exactly know what to use for what condition? How would you determine that?
So we actually have a device use recommendation table online that people can reference, and it has multiple conditions listed. But in general, how we categorize and how we recommend using the technology is as your category, and you can self-categorize if you feel like you're in a mild category health-wise, in a moderate category in terms of severity, or if you feel like you're in a severe category. Of course, you'll know best, you know your body best, but for mild to moderate conditions, again, we would recommend the BioHealers, the smaller units, and they really are powerful in their own right. And they've gone a long way for people, as you'll see by reviewing more testimonials, as your audience will see as they have time to review those. But as you start to progress into the moderate to severe conditions, we really do recommend either compounding the BioHealers, meaning using more than one, or going to the MedBed generators, because there's so much more energy potential there.
So, do these run out of energy? How long do they last?
So as of right now, they've been in use for over 3 years, and we have not noted any energy depletion whatsoever. So they've been operating at 100% the entire time that they've been in use. Of course, we're limited in terms of what we can say for a shelf life based on how long we've had to observe and test the technology. So as of right now, the shelf life is 3 years, but we believe with more time to observe and test the products, we'll be able to extend that shelf life back further and further.
Can people get in touch with you directly or Dr. Lou if they have further questions?
Sure. So I would recommend reaching out to our office, our email, and then of course you can request to speak to me or Dr. Lou. Our email is info at teslabiohealing.com. So that's TESLA like Nikola Tesla, bio like biology, BIO, and then healing like healing, HEALING.com. So info at teslabiohealing.com. And then our main office number is 302-265-2213. Again, that's 302-265-2213. And people can also visit our website at www.teslabiohealing.com for more information.
And one more thing before I let you go.
Sure.
I can imagine that our more conventionally minded listeners will be wondering if they should talk to their practitioners about this. And so they may want to know if there's anything published online. Has Dr. Lou published any peer-reviewed articles that have appeared in journals?
So first of all, for anybody who's more conventionally minded in terms of medicine, which is completely fine and valid. All these, again, I'll just reiterate that all of these devices are FDA registered over-the-counter medical devices. So they have gone through safety and efficacy studies. We actually did safety and efficacy studies for years before even releasing the technology to the public after it got registered with the FDA. And we do have a lot of information listed online, and we actually are in the process of publishing white papers as we speak. So those should actually be online very shortly. But we do encourage people to always consult their physician. The more physicians that become aware of technology like this, the better. So certainly consult your doctor, and you can reach out to us when the time is right.
Have you had any physician referrals at this point, Kris?
Yeah, we actually have many physicians who already refer these technologies to their patients, and they're very, very grateful because, especially for patients who really, things like the conditions we've been speaking about today, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, etc. These patients were a typical physician, their tool belt kind of runs out after a while. They really don't know what else to do. And a physician's heart is to help people. So when they find us, they're actually very, very grateful that they have something else to give their clients. So they're very happy. And we have many physicians who already refer Tesla BioHealing technologies to their patients.
And I guess my last question to you, every time you say something, I have more questions. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm constantly wanting to ask. Ask and get more information. When you do your testing at your facility, does Dr. Lou ever come up with any other recommendations, or it's just using the BioHealers? In other words, can he access any other parameters, whether it's your liver health, your detoxification pathways, or your eyes, or your ears, or problems with your respiratory tract? Can he assess that in his healing?
Well, essentially, we are a medical device manufacturer, so we're not giving medical advice. We're just offering these medical devices as their own health solution. But because this life force energy addresses so many different things going on in the body, again, because if your cells are healthy, the rest of your body can follow, including, these technologies. This life force energy specifically has been known to activate a natural detoxification process throughout your system, because that's something that your cells would do naturally if they were functioning optimally. So it's pretty amazing how much this life force energy can cover. So it's not really necessary for him to recommend anything else, especially because as a medical device manufacturer, we can only really educate people on our product. We always tell people to go ahead and refer to their own physician for any other kind of medical advice, but we can certainly educate people about what this product can do. And because it's so remarkable, because life force energy is that innate vital force essential for all of life, essential for the thriving of your cellular structures, it really addresses many, many layers of what the body needs.
And your website, once again, for my listeners?
www.teslabiohealing.com.
www.teslabiohealing.com. Thank you so much, Kris Galli, who's the director of Tesla BioHealing. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gittleman. Take good care.
I will try my best, and I will regenerate my voice by laying on these biohealing devices much, much more than I currently am at night. So I want to thank all of you for, thank you. I want to thank everybody out there for listening yet once again to First Lady of Nutrition podcast. Visit me at AnnLouise.com. Pick up my book, which is an Amazon bestseller in 6 categories, RadicalLongevity.com, and may the healing force be with you. Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Louise here with just one more thing. Thank you so much for being a fan of my work. And if you like this video, please check out all my other videos. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications.